Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Stevie.
Hi.
And, Steve, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. When it comes to your phone, how often do you delete phone numbers out of your phone?
Never.
Never? Because I don't know that I have ever deleted a phone number out of my phone.
I've blocked a phone number, but I've never deleted one.
Why didn't you just delete it? Did you still, you still wanted to have it?
Then they still have my phone number, so
You would know that it was them,
They would still be able to text me, and I could still get it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I didn't want to get it.
Because I have tons of phone numbers from like more than a decade ago that I've never talked to this person in years or anything, but I just don't. Some of the names I don't even recognize anymore.
Really?
But but I've never deleted a phone number, and I don't know if it's like I might need it. I know I actually won't need it. A lot of these people may not even have the same phone number now.
Sure.
But I don't know, the having it in there, like, it doesn't hurt anything. Like, it's not taking up space or anything.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if you ever deleted them. But it sounds like you don't either.
No, I would.
Do you think most people do?
No, I don't think anyone.
You don't think anybody does?
Numbers.
Okay. I was thinking about this the other day too, because the first iPhone came out when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a phone? Do you remember the iPhone not being around?
Yeah. My parents got me a phone when they separated when I was really young because they wanted me to be able to like call the other one whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
And like talk without having to use one of their phones. And I don't think the iPhone was around then.
Oh, it wasn't around? Okay.
That would have been like 2007.
I think it came out right around that time.
Okay. Well, no one had them. That wasn't like an option for
No,
us
it wasn't
at
a
all.
big, like, I had several phones before the iPhone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even get the iPhone when it first came out because it was super expensive. And it wasn't really on, like, I think it was on a plan, but it wasn't widely available. I think you had to have, like, a certain carrier to get it.
Oh, God. I have no idea about any of that.
And it also, I remember the bills, like, people getting, like, the first bill, and it was outrageously expensive because they didn't have, like, unlimited texting set in.
Right.
So
I remember not having unlimited
Yeah.
texting.
I didn't text until I started getting, like, I think I had a BlackBerry, which I could text other people with BlackBerries.
That was my first phone.
That was your first phone?
I had a red BlackBerry with like the little ball that scrolled and you played Brick Breaker.
Did you have the full keyboard or the half one? The one with 2 letters per thing. Was it skinny or
No,
wide?
it was full. It was wide. It was like
Okay.
a nugget.
Okay, because I had the full one. That was the first BlackBerry that I had.
No, you typed like you see like a normal keyboard, one letter per thing.
Okay. I knew they had a smaller one, but I didn't have that. I had the full one, and then I had the touchscreen BlackBerry that came out after that didn't do well.
Oh.
That was that was like trying to compete with the iPhone phone and the Android phones when they came out. But yeah, probably my favorite phone though that I ever had was the Razr.
Why?
Something about being able to just flip open the phone and it's answered. Like, you look at it and it says who it is, and then you just flip it open and you talk. And it was fun. And when you wanted to hang up, you just closed it. And
How
it was
powerful.
It was it was great to
close
just
it.
like smack it closed if you were mad at somebody.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I loved that phone. I miss that phone, but it doesn't have the stuff that my phone does now.
Sure.
So if they could make it the same size, because I wouldn't want it to be huge. But then you wouldn't have the screen. I don't know. That'd be a difficult one because the Samsung has that foldable thing with the screen now. I've seen them before, but I don't know that the foldable screen kind of scares me that it's not going to work or it's going to break real easily since you're folding the screen in half.
It is weird to see when someone literal screen just
Yeah.
goes in half. It's like they're breaking it. I have seen those phones before. It's just foreign. This might sound ignorant. It's just so crazy to me that not everyone has an iPhone. Like when
iPhone is like it's the major one in the US, but a lot of other countries don't. Like around the world, iPhone isn't quite as popular as it is here in the US.
More in America. Like when I see
it's very common here.
I'm like, what did you like? You don't have one.
I don't have one. I like the Android. I like the way that it's set up. I've had one for years.
But do you? Do you just say that to be like you just don't want to fall into the status quo of having an iPhone?
That's probably a little bit
like
of it.
a little bit of you is just kind of refusing to like be so mainstream and have.
Well, I don't think everybody that has an iPhone is going to yell at me for this. I can feel the yelling through the microphone and the headset. But I don't feel like iPhones are, especially anymore, as innovative as they were.
Oh yeah.
When they were original. So I think that my Samsung can do just as much, if not more, and is compatible with more things than an iPhone is. Because I have a PC. I don't have a Mac. I have an iPad, but I don't really use. I don't know that it's been turned on in, I don't know, a year. Like I think I just don't have a reason to necessarily need it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them for so long, and most people in my family, most people of my friends, they all have them. So to me, it's like it is very adaptable and it is very easy because we all have that.
Yeah, I get
same thing. But I don't think people would get mad at you for saying it's not innovative. I think a lot of people agree with that. They just at this point they're like, well, I don't want to learn a new interface.
Oh, I get that.
I'll just keep my iPhone.
I get that. And I'm kind of that way too. Like I don't really necessarily need to know how to use like I know how to use my Samsung.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I just like the way that I can control more of what it does than, because I can change it anything.
That makes sense to me. Like staying with something just because of the time you've had it. But what doesn't make sense to me is people who will like get an iPhone and then maybe they get like a Samsung next and they go back to an iPhone and then a Samsung and.
Yeah, my dad's done that a couple times, and it's weird to me.
Yeah, that's
I don't
like,
get that either.
Whoa, you're like bilingual.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really get that either. But yeah, I just like my Samsung. I mean, I understand that people like their iPhones. Don't have anything necessarily against iPhone. I play devil's advocate and you know, sometimes will give people crap if they give me crap about mine, but you know, I don't. It's not really anything that I really care about.
Yeah,
like
it has become a more like it's trendy to like make fun of people without iPhones.
I have noticed that.
Like people won't even realize if you've just grown up with an iPhone your whole life, you just hear about when people have green texts, that means they don't have an iPhone, and they just automatically think it's like a bad thing. But have you gotten that one before? Or like you can't be in a
group chat?
Yeah.
But I've had group chats with you.
But there's some that don't. Like I've had people who don't have iPhones, and it'll like if someone likes a message, can you?
Oh no! If you like a message,
Yeah.
it says liked and then the entire message again, like
Right.
in quotations. It doesn't just give like a. I don't know what your phone does if it does that, but like
It
normally,
just
does
says
it just give
someone
a thumbs
liked
up?
a message.
Okay, so it says liked and then it does the entire message
Does
in
it
quotations.
can you see like if you scroll through the messages, does it have like a little thumbs up by it or a heart?
No.
Okay, so we have that. Like if like we're talking in a group message with Nikki and Nikki likes one of your messages, that message will have a little heart by it, and I'll see that.
So okay, so it's
our
just
group
like
chat.
what, like Instagram or Facebook or is there?
Yeah,
anything
liking
that?
a message.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just see it there.
Okay. Yeah, mine doesn't do that. I mean, I don't know if it does. I'm not really in a lot of group chats with people. Most everybody that I know has an iPhone, so I don't know if that would with mine. Like if somebody else with a Samsung did the same thing, I don't know how that would work.
Right.
I don't know.
don't
I've
know
never
either.
really messed with it, so I don't talk to that many people. So, the whole phone thing kind of takes me into another thing. Are you good with technology?
I mean, I think I can like mess around and figure stuff out, but I wouldn't say like I wouldn't volunteer to help someone with their laptop if like they had like a question about their settings on it. I don't think I could just figure that out. I'd be like, that's probably not my forte, but I can figure out like almost anything on an iPhone. I have to help like my dad or my grandparents sometimes with their stuff.
That makes sense. But it just sometimes with technology, like setting up technology, like setting up a TV or setting up a surround sound system or something, things like that.
Oh.
Or setting up a computer, dealing with things on a computer. Sometimes it amazes me how people your age don't seem to have any technological aptitude. And it's not all of them, of course, but I mean, there's people that I've known, and maybe it's they don't think about it and they tell me no because they think about it in a different way. I don't know, but I have a theory on it, but it surprises me sometimes when people like your age or a little bit older than you or even a little bit younger than you seem to have problems with computers.
Like, give me an example.
Like printers, like setting up a printer. Or changing the setting on a printer, or understanding that you have to change the setting on a printer. If you have more than one printer.
I would say I don't know many kids that like I grew up with. Most of us didn't have printers at our homes. Also, once like when it came to like homework and like yeah, we had to print a couple things, but usually we could print them at school, and the printer was already always going to be hooked up to a school computer. And then if like by the time I was a freshman in high school, everything we had our own iPad and we had our own Chromebooks after that until I graduated. So everything was just on like a like its own little like platform of like ways to turn stuff into teachers, and they just got it. We didn't need to print anything.
I think that kind of goes into my theory. So my theory on this, and we'll see if you agree with this. My theory on this is that people my age can, and I'm not saying we're all better, but tend to have more technological aptitude to a lot of things, because whenever I was younger, a lot of this stuff was just coming out, and you had to do a lot of those things to get it to work.
Okay.
You had to do a lot of setting up of things to get it to actually work, whereas now you buy it, it comes in a box, you turn it on, and it works.
I would agree.
I mean, we've talked about the internet difference from, now and when I was a kid. Now it's, if you're yelling at the computer if it's not loaded a web page in 5 seconds. When I was a kid with dial-up, you could take a shower, make a sandwich, and it might be loaded in that amount of time.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know if it's because, like, and I could be completely wrong on this too. Like, everybody nowadays I'm just talking to the wrong people. That's very possible.
No, I think it's like technology developed to a point of
it's so user friendly
now. To make it user friendly, but within that, when something goes wrong that we're not used to, it's like it hurts us. It's like if your phone dies, like, yeah, your phone is the most helpful thing in the world. You can get anywhere, you can look anything up, but if it dies and you're stranded, people my age would probably, I mean, this is a broad generalization, but most of us probably be like, now what? Like, I can't look up where the nearest thing is. I can't call anyone to help me, even though, like, there's other ways to get out of that situation, but I've never needed to do any of that. So it hinders and helps to a certain extent.
When I was a kid, my dad had a friend who didn't have a cell phone. And one of his ideas on that was, and this was years ago, but one of his ideas on that was, somebody will. Like, I can always ask somebody to use theirs. Somebody will have a phone. Which I remember the first cell phone that, like, my dad ever had wasn't portable.
Yeah.
It was mounted into his truck.
Oh, yes. You told me about this, yeah.
And if his truck wasn't on and the phone rang, it would honk the horn.
Yeah.
But, that was like the mobile phone of that time. It wasn't like a handheld. I mean, they had the big bag phone. I mean, you've seen those, the huge ones or whatever. But I don't know. But the other thing with the emergencies, going back to what you were just talking about, if there was an emergency, do you know like your dad's number to call? Like, without having your phone?
Yeah. I know my dad's number and my mom's, I think.
Okay.
I know those two numbers, and I know.
What are you looking at, Steve?
Maybe next time we record.
Are you talking about the clock?
Yeah, and your dryer went off twice.
Yeah,
Let's
I noticed
not
that.
do a load of laundry before.
Well, I mean, it's got to be done. Like, things have got to be done. The clock is kind of hard to stop.
Yeah, that one's not probably. It's probably gonna feature in every single episode.
That's possible, unless we start like right after it rings.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Because I also don't know how many people know, like,
other phone numbers.
Have phone numbers memorized for an emergency. Because I know my dad's, I know my grandpa's. My mom has changed numbers a couple of times, so I don't know that I know hers.
I have no idea what my grandparents' numbers
But
are.
Like, I know a few, but I don't know a ton
Yeah.
of numbers.
Yeah. It would really, like,
Well, the other
it
thing,
would be
too,
tough.
just now thinking about it, the other thing that would be difficult is there's not, like, payphones around anymore.
I would never think to find a payphone.
But used to, they were they were wherever.
Yeah.
So what would you do? Would you, like, try to find a business, like a gas station
Yeah.
or something? Okay.
Yeah, somewhere I felt safe.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I just wondered.
Because then it's one thing of like, okay, not only am I probably going to be here for a while, but these people know that I'm alone and don't have a phone. So I need to
Yeah.
go somewhere that I feel comfortable letting them know that.
No, it makes sense. Okay. So how was your week?
It's good. It was pretty chill.
Chill?
Yeah. I do
Okay.
have a new life goal that I've
Okay.
set for myself.
Yeah.
It's
What is that?
I think it's attainable. So we did a case study in my marketing class for restoration hardware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love
And
restoration hardware.
it was about like the case study was about just how they succeed as a brick and mortar store over being an e-commerce store. Like a lot of places are moving to kind of the e-commerce world.
Yeah.
And brick and mortars are slowly going away. But the whole thing of restoration hardware is the experience you get shopping in a restoration hardware. And the buildings are always very nice. They offer, it's a luxury place
It
and
ought to be
experience.
for the price.
Right. And I didn't realize, like, I heard of restoration hardware. I knew it was an expensive furniture store. I did not realize they have some of, like, not just nice restaurants, some of, like, people come to restoration hardwares just to, like, go to their cafes and try their coffees that they've seen advertised. Or, like, their pizza shops. They have wine cellars in some of the restoration hardwares.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those ones. The one that I always went into was in the gallery in St. Louis, and it was a smaller store, so they didn't have all that.
The one I think that people is, like, really popular that people will, like, travel to just to go see is in New York. So that would make
I mean, if
sense.
I was in, I didn't know they had I'm sure they have a flagship
It's
store there.
huge.
If I was there, I'd probably go visit it.
Yeah.
I love
So
restoration hardware.
and like everything, it's kind of like an IKEA where it's like literally everything you see is on sale and they have like showrooms for it, but everything in the restaurants, like if you're like, this cup is so cute, you can buy it.
Oh yeah.
Or, oh, I like
That's
the
a great-
table that
that's
I'm
a
sitting
great
at.
marketing thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So they offer like, they have like childcare. So like if you don't want your kids to be running around while you're trying to shop, you can go put them in like the childcare for the day. I personally probably wouldn't do that.
I mean, when you're spending that much for like, I remember seeing a chandelier there once that was like $15,000, or a sofa that
kids
was like
running around.
$14,000. They can afford the company can afford to pay for childcare for a little while, and I don't know that I want my kids running around looking at all that stuff and touching
probably like,
things or
please
breaking
bring
it.
your kids here because if you keep them with you, something's gonna get destroyed. Yeah, but so my new life goal is to like be able to not just go to restoration hardware, but like I'm able to like buy a couple pieces there, and then
Okay.
also like go get
I mean, they have
food at
relatively.
their cafe and like buy something there. Just like have because I'm sure that's expensive too. I'm sure their food
I'm
is
sure.
outrageously priced, but
I mean, they have some things that aren't way like crazy expensive.
yeah. But no, I mean like I want to go and buy an expensive piece. I don't want to go and be like, okay, where's your clearance section?
They used to have a like world map, or they had big maps that you could buy, and these maps are like 10 feet tall and like 7 feet wide. Like they're the size of your wall.
Yeah.
And they're different. Like they would have. I remember seeing one of like London from like the 1800s or something like that. But it's just like different places, and they were like $5,000 a piece. Like they're stupid expensive.
No, it's a
But it's an amazing. I love that store.
yeah.
So much.
And the architecture that goes into the buildings, like it's a very there's a meaning to everything. Like that's like the video we had to watch for our class was one of the guys who works for the architect department. Like they're like they buy spaces and then they kind of create what they want their next building to look like.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it would be a really cool experience. So that's on my bucket list now.
your new life goal is to be able to afford things
It's
from
a
restoration
life
hardware.
goal. I have others too,
A
but
life
that's definitely one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really have that many like life goals like that.
That's sad.
There's not.
Just kidding.
I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head that it's just like I want to be able to do this. Like I don't know. I'm just kind of I like having fun. I like going on trips, but there's not anything that's like this is the end game, you
Well,
know.
it's not my end game by
No,
any means.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like this is where I want to get to. I mean, there's places that I want to get, but not anything crazy.
Fine.
The look on your face is just like, okay, whatever.
You just can't relate.
Hey, I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just kind of a very don't
Simple.
care. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, like in a good way. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't.
I'm kind of just like, I just kind of go and do what I want to do when I want to do it.
You're
and that's-
easily fulfilled,
Yeah, pretty much.
perhaps. See, and I'm not.
Not. Oh, so what else have you been up to, Steve?
Oh, on Tuesday I picked my dad up. He had surgery.
Oh yeah, I remember that. How's he doing?
And I think he's doing pretty good. I
Okay.
haven't talked to him today, but I talked to him like every day since I picked him up.
Yeah.
And just to like check, and he had like friends coming over every day to either like have lunch with him or just say hi because he gets bored. Like he can't
Yeah,
really
he
move,
can't really do anything.
do anything. But so I think he's doing good.
That's good.
It's
How was it? You said that you were a little concerned, I think, about like having to take care of him that soon or like that or whatever.
I was just like I never had to take care of anyone
Yeah.
before, so I just didn't want to like mess anything up, and I wanted to be of use. I wanted to be helpful.
Yeah.
And I know, and he told me a million times, and like he'll probably tell me again after listening to this, that just me being there was helpful, and I
Yeah.
do get that. But for me, like I think my love language in terms of like giving to others is doing things like let me start a little laundry, let me go
Yeah.
run errands. Like I returned something for him at Walmart and just picked up a few groceries, and that made me feel useful. I was like, oh, I'm here for a reason. I'm not just sitting on a couch.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, that makes
know what I
sense.
mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do for you.
Yeah.
Other than, and he could get up and walk enough to where I was like, well, okay, I don't need to help you with that. So like, I
Yeah.
hope I can be of service, and I think I was.
Okay. Did you were looking forward to more soups? Did you get your French onion soup this week?
No, I was supposed to do Tuesday, but that got rescheduled to this coming Tuesday.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think I am like, I need to find a day. I'll probably do it this coming week. I'm gonna get broccoli cheddar soup
Okay.
from Panera.
Make sure you
So-
get it in the bread bowl.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do that. for
Me
sure,
and my
but-
dad were talking about this the
I'll
other day, and
read
he says that he doesn't want the bread bowl. Like he doesn't like the bread bowl in that situation.
Okay, Ivan,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's fine.
He said it's too much bread. I don't think you can have too much bread personally, but
Me either.
what do you keep looking at over here?
I don't know. My eyes just kind of. I'm not good with eye contact for
Oh,
a long
okay.
period of time, so I have to find something else to look at.
Uh,
I also like to see how long the episode's been going.
yeah, I mean it's been going for a
On
little.
the way here, I thought of you because I got in my car and
You're-
it's hot outside.
Oh yes.
And I love coming from like, especially if I'm anywhere with AC, it doesn't even have to be cold, but like coming out of here, I'm gonna love just going into my hot car. I love getting into a hot car, and most people think that's bonkers.
Yeah, because when we worked together, you would go sit in your car that had
the
been
middle of
baking in
summer.
the sun in 100-degree weather, and you would just sit in your car for.
Okay, sometimes
the
it was
heat.
on, like I would turn it on, turn the AC on, or it would be off and I'd have the windows down. Like I don't like this narrative that I just sat in my car for an hour with no like airflow at all, because that's not true.
So hot.
It would get hot.
hot.
Yeah, I'd be like sweating. My face would get red. But I just
don't understand.
It'd be so cold in the bank because they're like trying to compensate for how
Yeah.
hot it was, and I would just get so cold, and I'd be wearing like a dress because it's summertime, and I'd
Yeah.
be freezing all day. So I just had to go like thaw out. I ate my
You're
lunch.
frozen.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's so like your car gets so hot though.
Yeah, I have an all black car.
Yeah, well, yours is even. Yeah, you're worse because of that. Like mine, it's not as bad, but I don't even. Like it's only been like in the 70s here recently, 70s maybe the low
Oh,
80s,
it's been so nice.
and it like I got in my car yesterday and I thought I was gonna cook.
I love that feeling.
I turned the air conditioner to the max as soon as I started the car.
I love that feeling of just getting in there and being like, ah.
The only time I don't have a problem with that feeling, a little bit, is when it's like February and it's like it's sunny, so your car's kind of been baking, so it's
Yeah.
warm in the car, but so it might be like 90 degrees in the car, 80, 90 degrees in the car, but outside it's like 40.
But because the sun was out.
But because the sun was out, it kind of baked your car. That's not as bad. But when it's already warm outside, I don't want to get into a hot car.
Oh, people are going to think I'm crazy.
I mean,
That comment,
that's
probably.
understandable.
But I don't care. I love the feeling. Even if the only time I don't, if I just did like my hair and makeup, that kind of sucks. That feeling of
Because
like,
then you're like sweating it
if
off
I'm
or
just,
whatever.
I just feel like, yeah, I just feel gross. But that doesn't happen that often anyway. But like if I'm about to go to a dinner and it's the middle of July, and I just did my hair and makeup, okay, yeah, that's probably gonna suck for a little bit. But then the AC starts going and I'm fine. But I really do enjoy the feeling of like sitting and getting into a hot car. If I have no makeup or hair, like I could. Well, I'll have hair, but like not hair done that I care about getting if I do sweat a little. I don't mind the sweating. It's when if it's like messing something up. That's why I don't like.
See,
But the
I'm not a
sweating
big-
itself, I don't mind.
I don't like sweating.
I'm a sweaty girl. I have to get used to it.
I mean, I am too, and I'm not a girl,
Yeah.
but I'm a sweaty person.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened. Like, I can sit on my sofa. If it's like 69, 70 degrees in my apartment, and I'm sitting on my sofa, I will start sweating.
That's crazy.
So I don't like it, which is why it's 66 degrees in here and not 70 something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to necessarily be drenched, but I really have always, I think it's genetic. I've talked to my dad about this because he's the same way. Like, I remember at dance practice growing up, we'd barely be like, have warmed up, and my face would like be red. And I'm not dying. Like, I'm not having trouble breathing or anything. I just work up a sweat much quicker than I think a lot of people do.
Different people, everybody's different.
Yeah, but I'm just used to it. I really don't mind it. Now, if I'm drenched, okay, that's an issue. But just like, I don't mind a little bit. So gross.
It's a little weird to me, but
I'm used to it. I don't know.
so. But I know that you prefer hot though. Than cold.
Times. Yes.
I'm
Yes,
getting
yes.
more. I don't ever prefer hot. I still prefer cooler, but I'm getting less able to deal with the cold.
It's awful. I want to cry when I walk outside and it's like less than 40 degrees.
Okay, well that's a little much
It
for
hurts.
me,
Like, it
but
hurts me.
I get that. I'm getting, like I said, a little less able to deal with the cold. I don't know if it's age or what, but it seems like I haven't been able to deal with the cold as well over the last few years as I used to be able to.
And honestly, it didn't even get that cold this year. It got cold around Christmas time.
There was a couple
but then,
days,
like,
but overall it wasn't that
like
cold.
when it's normally cold and you're sick of it in like February and March, I feel like it wasn't as bad as it's
No, it wasn't nearly as bad this year as it had. I mean, here it wasn't. I
sure,
mean,
yeah, for us.
crazy places, but yeah, I mean, it got like below zero for a couple days, maybe a couple little spurts, but not anything crazy. But yeah, I still prefer cooler weather than hotter weather.
It's situational. Like, obviously, I wouldn't want to sleep and be sweating. I'd rather be like, have a freezing room when I go to bed. That's the only time I prefer cold because then I can just bundle up
Yeah.
and I can always add more. But like sleeping and also being like so hot to the point where you're sweating, that's terrible. No one should have to do that. I don't know anyone who likes that. But if I'm going outside, I would rather it be 110 degrees than like 40 degrees.
I actually work with a girl that turns her thermostat up when she goes to bed,
To what though?
like 78 degrees.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now I know she's always cold.
Yeah.
Like, always cold, and I don't get it. But yeah, her thermostat I think is normally like 74, and if I remember correctly, she turns it up to like 78 when she goes to bed. And I'm
a
the
little
opposite.
wild.
Mine goes down always. Like, cause I can't, when I'm in bed, I'm covered up, so I still want it to be cold. I still want to feel cool, but. Yeah, 78 degrees? No. My apartment's never at 78
I was
degrees.
gonna say, I don't think even in the summertime it gets up to 78, or in the wintertime. I mean, like, I don't even think I'd purposely put it on 78 ever.
I don't put my apartment on 70 ever.
Okay, well now but I think that's where you're different.
That's where I'm different. I'm weird. Well, not necessarily weird, but
I think that you definitely prefer colder temperatures in your apartment than most people. Like right now, what's this temperature? It's a little cold in here to me.
it's, I think, set at 66.
Yeah, that's a little chilly for me personally.
I mean, I got a blanket if you want a blanket.
No, I'll be fine. But I think right now I just left my apartment. It was like we had it set to like 72.
Okay, I mean, that's a pretty standard temperature, but
Yeah.
that to me is, like I said, if I'm sitting even if I'm sitting or doing anything, if I'm up and folding clothes or moving around or anything, I'm going to start sweating at 72 degrees. And I don't want to be sweating in my apartment.
I get that. I will say, over the wintertime, I've never had this happen to me before. The dryer, it would get so hot when the dryer was running. We'd have to, even in dead of winter, we'd turn our heat off because it got so hot in our apartment and our windows would be foggy.
That seems like something wrong with your dryer.
I don't know.
Something's not hooked up right or something.
Oh.
Either the hose on the back that does the vent or something. That seems like something's not hooked up right.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to fix it, so that sucks. It's probably going to stay like that because I'm lazy. I'm lazy to fix it.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Do you got anything big planned for this week? You got anything excited about?
No, I'm about to go to the lake and see my grandparents.
Yeah.
See if they've been listening to the podcast. I'll quiz them.
Are they good enough with technology to do this? Because my grandparents.
My grandma has listened. She'll send me stuff. She'll be like she told me, she's like, I was never good at geography either. Because she'll send me stuff like that.
Your grandparents are younger than mine, of course, but my grandparents, they have no idea. I think my dad told them that I have a podcast, and I don't think my grandpa even understood what he was talking about.
Sure.
It might as well have been speaking Russian to him.
It's just
No way. I mean, I had to teach my dad over the phone how to find find our podcast. So now he does listen to it now, but that's good. I'm glad your grandparents listen to it.
Yeah, I know they try to. I don't know if it's an every week thing, but they definitely try to. I have a couple family members that's almost every week will send me something after. My aunt, shout out to my aunt Kristen, she'll probably really listen. She sends me stuff almost not every, but she sent me broccoli cheddar soup last week. She'll send me pictures of stuff. She'll send me little random things about the podcast.
Okay.
And it just makes me happy.
I think I get more comments from Nikki than anybody.
Oh yeah. Well, I see Nikki on every week. We work together.
Well, I don't, but I always get
I
get text messages from her on a regular basis on something that's whenever we talked about music and the best with your dad. She sent her answers to the whole list of things.
Yeah, I have another aunt who did the same thing. She texted me and my dad in a group chat, and she sent her answers to everything.
And there are a couple of people that I work with that will Tom, one of the guys that I work with that I work with, he will talk to me about stuff whenever he listens to it. And he's always he likes.
He's the one that wants ours to be longer.
Yeah, which I forgot to tell him about this, but the fact that when we were talking about this last week, I think you thought that 45 minutes was too long. Still, I was.
That is far too long.
We barely go 30. We go 30 now. So what are we going longer if we're not going 45 or an hour?
That's just I don't think most people want that. I don't know. Comment on our stuff if you disagree. If you want longer episodes, but I feel like we're at a good.
I mean, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but. And now she's looking at the time on the little board thing here.
And also
we just talk though. It's whenever we finish talking.
Right. You're right. It's fine. I don't know. I think I'm still kind of getting used to the I'm still assuming that people don't want to listen to this for too long because they're all right, we get it. That's enough, you two. But that's probably just my own.
I mean, if they think that, they can also turn it off.
That's true.
So
I don't want them to turn it off.
We don't want them to turn it off. No, please don't turn it off. Please don't turn it off.
We'll be done soon.
Yes, we're almost done. But I get my dad talks to me about it sometimes. He'll make jokes about it sometimes, and he tells me what my uncle says sometimes about it. But I haven't gotten a lot from other people on what they've thought about it. The people that I talk to on the no, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Nikki and like I said, Tom I talk with about almost all
Oh my God,
week,
we're shouting out a lot of people today.
We are.
My dad when he listened to last week's episode, when I was talking about French onion soup, and I guess the way that I like started that whole topic off was saying like, went to like Will's parents, my boyfriend's parents, and like we went to, we saw them, and there's something new in my life is how I started that off.
I really thought it was going to be something a lot bigger than
so did he. He was like, when you started saying this, I thought you were about to make a big announcement.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on there.
I was like, what would I announce on the podcast that I haven't like told people my life? I don't know. I wouldn't do that. No one has to worry that I'm going to make a big announcement on here before announcing it to people in my actual life.
No, but I know before you have told me to save something for the podcast, which is like, I mean, we kind of have to talk about it beforehand a little bit. Like,
do you think I'm going to like bring on some crazy news?
I have no idea, Steve.
That's true. I'm unpredictable.
That's an understatement. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Is that about it?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, guys, like, subscribe. Please don't stop listening to us. We do love having you guys.
Please don't turn it off.
Yeah, it was fun, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.